Hello friends, and welcome to The Architecture Enthusiast. The Fagus Factory, designed by Walter Gropius and Adolf Meyer, stands as one of the most iconic buildings of early modern architecture. Located in Alfeld, Germany, this shoe-last factory is not only significant for its innovative design, but also for how it embodies the principles of modernism that would later come to define the Bauhaus movement. Built between 1911 and 1913, the Fagus Factory is widely regarded as a landmark of modern industrial architecture, where form follows function, and the design is stripped of unnecessary ornamentation. The factory is composed of a series of rectangular volumes, and its most notable feature is its extensive use of glass in the façade. At a time when heavy, load-bearing walls dominated industrial design, Gropius and Meyer introduced the radical concept of a steel skeleton structure, which allowed for the extensive use of glass curtain walls. This glass facade not only allowed natural light to flood the interior, creating a healthier and more productive work environment, but it also gave the building a sense of transparency and openness, aligning with the ideals of a more democratic, open society that Gropius championed. The factory's transparency was as symbolic as it was functional. Gropius wanted to reflect the growing belief in progress, modernity, and the openness of industrial processes, which stood in stark contrast to the opacity of traditional manufacturing spaces. The lack of decorative features also marked a sharp departure from the historicist styles that still held sway in Europe during the early 20th century. Instead of ornamental flourishes, the building's aesthetic was defined by clean lines, flat surfaces, and large windows, elements that would become foundational to the modernist movement. The Fagus Factory's design is often lauded for its revolutionary use of materials and for the way it prefigured Gropius's later work with the Bauhaus. However, it was not without its critics at the time of its construction. Many found the building's minimalist approach too austere and sterile, especially in contrast to the more decorative and humanistic styles that were still prevalent. The extensive use of glass was also met with skepticism, as it was seen as impractical and too fragile for an industrial setting. Critics questioned the durability of the building and whether it could withstand the wear and tear of a working factory. Additionally, some found the building's stark geometric forms to be alienating, arguing that the design was too cold and impersonal for a space meant for human labor. Yet, despite these early criticisms, the Fagus Factory has come to be celebrated as a masterpiece of early modernism. Over time, the building proved to be remarkably durable, and its functional, transparent design has been recognized as a precursor to later developments in industrial architecture. It also anticipated the social aspirations of modernist architects, who sought to create environments that were not just efficient, but also conducive to well-being. The Fagus Factory was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2011, a century after its construction, further cementing its legacy. It remains an enduring symbol of how industrial architecture can transcend pure functionality to become an expression of progressive social values. The factory's design stands as a testament to Gropius's vision of architecture as a means of shaping human experience, reflecting the changing relationships between labor, society, and the built environment during the industrial age. In hindsight, the initial criticisms of the building's coldness and fragility seem to have missed the foresight and innovation that Gropius and Meyer brought to the project. The Fagus Factory challenged the norms of its time, paving the way for modern architecture's embrace of new materials, transparency, and social responsibility.